Okay. Hello, Jahnavi.
Hello. Hello and welcome to Story to Satori. Hello, Ben Bharat. Namaste. Namaste from India
Namaste.
and namaste. So we are going to have a completely new series starting today. And I have a wonderful guest all the way from Germany. I believe he's in Germany now, right now.
Yes,
I did
yes,
a lot
right.
of research. Yes. Okay. So we have Ben Bharat, who is the founder of the school, which is called Simple Living and High Thinking.
Yeah, School of Simple Living. Yeah.
School of Simple Living and High Thinking. Right?
Yeah, actually,
and,
it's the School of Simple Living. Yeah, based on the principles of simple living and high thinking. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And this is such a fortunate thing because I was in the process of revamping the whole Story to Satori. So this time it's going to be very different with, we are going to have a Story to Satori as a process in 3 parts, that is 20 minutes each. So we will be having 3 videos, which my viewers, I really request you to observe, watch all the 3. And please share your feedback. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit the button and subscribe to my Story to Satori channel. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Ben Bharat from Germany. Basically, he's from Germany who moved to US, and he has a long career of almost complete to 20 plus years in the corporate.
Yeah.
And the story, like the first part is all about his story and why Ben Bharat left the corporate. Why did at all he feel like leaving such a 6-figure income, wonderful job in the corporate? And I'll talk a bit of his corporate. He has worked in companies like Bayer, Microsoft, Novell, that is in Australia a year, and then he worked in startups. And he's worked in Volkswagen, and then he also has a Kottakkal, freelancing in Kottakkal Ayurvedic medicines, and then he has worked as freelancer, and now he's established a community of farming. So we're going to hear more from him. Whatever the information that I could collect from and research from LinkedIn and Facebook and other social media, I have done that. And without further ado, welcome to Story to Satori, Ben Bharat. And please tell, how did you get this name Bharat? And before that, where did your journey begin? Why did you leave your wonderful 6-income job in the corporate? And what made you to start this School of Simple Living, High Thinking?
Okay. Thank you so much, Jahnavi. Yeah, I feel very warm welcomed, and I'm happy to pioneer your new format for the Story to Satori. And yeah, where to start? I got that name Bharat actually in Fiji. But to give you context, let's start in Germany, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, like 20 years ago, I started in IT, in project management. And I continued in that field, and I worked for Fortune 100 companies internationally. And yes, something was lacking. So my life was great externally. Everything was there that I needed. More than that, we had 2 different flats in different cities, and we had a lot of prosperity and very good opportunities. I was living together with my wife, and then my first boy arrived, and shortly after that, my second boy. And at that time, I started to question my life, because when I was waking up in the morning, I was thinking, another day, and yeah, today I will go from one meeting to the other meeting, and I was not seeing much sense in that. So I was feeling resistance. I have to sit at the desk all day, and I was feeling that that I'm being deprived of fresh air and sunlight, and I just wanted to be together with my family. And I had the feeling, yeah, I have to go shopping. I will have to bring my kids to the kindergarten and to the school, and then they will just live the same life as I live, like in a hamster wheel. Yeah, I experienced, I made so many plans to get into a status of fulfillment and lasting happiness and joy. But always when I fulfilled some plan, it continued. So no bigger house or car, anything was fulfilling my desires. So I questioned what's my real goal in life. When my children came, I started to think, what food do I give them to eat? And I was not sure. And at that time, I got so many allergies. I couldn't even eat an apple or a peach. And I couldn't eat any bread anymore. I got gluten allergy. And like 10 years ago, that was something new. Not many people had that. Okay. Today, it's kind of normal in the Western countries, at least.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was suffering a lot. And it was painful for me because I had that material wealth, but I couldn't really enjoy my life. And I wanted to change something. So I was questioning and researching, and I was open to fully change my life in any area.
So basically what I'm hearing, Ben, is you had everything that possibly an IT guy can have. I mean, at a young age, you had your family, your wife, your son, and you had good work. The thing that drove you was the lack of sunshine and then typical IT, environment. And then the thing that you spoke of was about your allergies that you got. So do you mean to say that the allergies are because of the environment, that you couldn't get enough sunlight, being in a Western country? Not getting that sunlight? And
I don't want to say, it's only because of that, black and white, because before I left Germany, before we went to Fiji, I learned Ayurveda practitioner. And I learned coaching. So I learned really the whole systemic approach of a living being inside of interactions with nature and other beings. And in that terms, I see that working in an office, sitting at the desk all day long, it's so unnatural for the back, for the blood flow, for the heart, for my eyes. My mind is getting more inert and sleepy if I sit all day and I stare at the desk. And so I'm using my body in an unnatural way. And then also the food, I was eating mindless, not mindful. I was eating just in between, reading something on the screen because there's not much time. So I just squeezed it in between a break, or I went with the colleagues to the canteen and ate some food that is not rich and full of life, of that. The Chinese call it qi. In Ayurveda, you say prana. Prana. I would say the life force. And
life force, yes.
If that's lacking in the food, then no nutritions will benefit my body, because it's that life force that makes me alive and fresh and clear and clean in my mind.
So sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so intrigued to ask, what kind of thoughts you were getting, when you have such food that is not fresh, but it's almost like, prepared and it's almost stale, lacking energy, and also sitting in that closeted atmosphere of the cubicle system, in the IT environment. So what is that kind of thoughts that you got, were they just low, low vibrating thought, or were you getting anxious, frustrated, feeling like running away from that place? And
Yeah.
because the step that you took is a drastic step, leaving
Yes.
IT. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, to approach that answer, I see Ayurveda sees life from a paradigm of three different states of nature. Yeah, the gunas. And
Hmm.
from that guna approach, I categorize myself in the middle status. Yeah, there's
Oh,
that which just,
Rajas.
yeah, rajas, passionate.
Yeah.
So there's peacefulness, yeah,
Oh.
and mode of goodness, and then
Hmm.
there's mode of action and doing and passion. And I was
Okay.
very much in
Yeah.
that mode, and it's my nature. And
Hmm.
the mode that I hear you're describing, when I eat, always I eat stale food. I eat old food or food that was frozen, food that came from 3,000 miles transported 2 weeks long in trucks and on ships. That kind of food, boxed and packaged, processed from factories, that already lost a lot of life. And when I eat only that kind of food, I'm
Hmm.
getting more uh, inert, slow in my body. And you can
Okay.
see it physically. People, they gain weight, and
Yes.
they sit more. They want to do things in a status of sitting and not moving around.
Hmm.
And then the mind, the whole metabolism, the
Hmm.
whole system of body and mind, which is connected,
Yes.
becomes affected in a way that the mind also is like, oh yeah, like the body doesn't want to stand up and do something. The mind feels, oh no, oh that's too complicated for me. Or now after work, I just want to relax and I don't want to think. That's like
Hmm.
that's like a kind of status you can get into. Now, to understand my situation, you see, my body, it was always lean and slim and more like,
Uh,
I'm more of the hyperactive propensity. So um, I want, I always wanted to become more peaceful.
hmm.
So I brought my food from home. I made
Okay.
my food at home and put it in a box so it stays warm, and it's organic food, and I brought that to work. And I
Hmm.
told my colleagues, I have so many allergies. I don't want to go to the canteen. I rather eat here. And then I
Hmm.
ate peacefully at the desk. And after a while, I developed the discipline to not read but just eat.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I would take a walk in the park. So I created kind of my peaceful atmosphere, but my
Yeah.
desire was, for so many years, it was suppressed. So I really wanted to be in the natural environment.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I'm hearing, Ben Bharat, is your real innate nature wanted peace. Your nature was more peace,
Yeah.
inclined to peace. But your work made you to, sit in a cubicle without sunshine, eat the frozen food, and that was something which brought down your energies to the level of tamas, the third guna, where you're almost like, you tend to become more sleepy,
Yeah.
not being active. And then your work demanded you to be rajas, because all the time
Yeah. Yeah.
project management.
Mm.
I see your bio where you're the project management you've written. It was like, at the cost of getting kidney failure and then heart attack, you were working in the one of the last jobs that you did. You have described that you were going through such stress that it was almost like you may have a kidney failure or a heart attack. And that is a type of demands of work on you. The stress in the IT companies is so demanding. The
Yeah.
work is so demanding, it leads to stress. But
Mm.
then because of your work, the way you work is, very isolated, sitting in a place with
Yeah.
all the time you're looking at a screen,
Mm.
and it brings down your energy almost to the tamas level, and you feel bored, you sleep, you feel like, just And
Yeah.
your innate desire is to go towards
Yeah.
sattva.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was
I want
it?
to add.
Yeah.
On at work. I needed to artificially
Okay.
counteract that. Yeah, because I didn't want to be in spreadsheets and numbers for hours and hours and do reports for hours and hours. That's not what's my desire. So I was doing that against my willpower, and actually I had the desire to be with my family or in nature or to do something that is fulfilling. So I was suppressing my desire, and then going home, this desire became so big so that I just wanted to numb out. And yeah, I
And
want to
then
say,
what happened then? I mean, you
yeah,
were talking about, you went to the
yeah,
Fiji
we,
Islands. So
yeah.
when did
First,
you
like
make that decision?
first, what happened for us is we traveled for
Huh.
far away, and we traveled to places like Iran or
Hmm.
India, very exotic places. And
Okay.
we really liked it, and we stayed for longer times. So we stayed for 3 weeks, then 5 weeks, um, and I met people there, and I got something that I didn't get in the office. I could speak with those people that I met, or a lot of them, not generally, but often in these countries. I met people that were connecting with me from heart, and people that I hardly knew. Like very quickly, I could get into a conversation where I speak my truth, and at work I had a facade or a mask, and I'm a very truth-loving person. So for me, it's a pain to only speak about work at work. I want to meet the personalities there, and I saw many people, they are totally behind the wall, and naturally I am that too in some ways. So my desire became very big to live in an environment where people are like that. So then one day when we came back from India, we have been in Delhi, which was very busy and not what I really liked. But we also went for a panchakarma at the time when I did my Ayurveda practitioner, and I learned from Dr. Jivan. And I always were into herbs and natural healing. Then at that time we went to Kottakkal in the south, and
Okay.
we also went to Vrindavan in the north. And there we heard like sacred chants and mantra meditation, bhajans, singings, and it really touched my heart. And the day we came back,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a message from the German tax authorities saying that I need to pay 30,000 euros, and several things happened, and I was like, no, I don't want to continue this craziness anymore. I'm working more and more, and I need to pay more and more taxes, and nothing is left. I just want to live like these simple people. They are so happy. They are much more happy. And yeah, and then I researched, and I found a project in Fiji where people were living sustainable, following an ancient tradition, and then we registered for a visa, and for like a half year or longer, when we were waiting for the visa, we downsized. Yeah, my realization was, if I want to be simple, I need to live in a simple way. And before we go to Fiji and live in a simple cottage, which was what we were aiming for, we decluttered and reduced all our material belongings. And when we arrived Fiji, it was wonderful, like in paradise. We had all these exotic fruits, star fruit, and we had the beach in front of us, coconut palms everywhere, and the kids, they were just running around playing in nature, and a lot of sunshine. I got all that I needed, and at the same time we experienced that we took our karma with us, like in a backpack. Yeah, my mind was still a workaholic mind. So in Fiji, I wanted to do things because my mind was not used to that. So on one hand, I was fulfilled and happy, and on the other hand, I was restless because, yeah, I was used for around 30 years in my life to act in a different way, and that is a paradigm I learned in coaching. I saw you are working with that. At least I assume that's kind of the same. The be do have paradigm, where yeah, I was in the do have be paradigm. I was thinking, in order to be fulfilled, I need to do something. I need to check off something on my to-do list, and once I have done that, once I have done so much work, I will gain a house, or I will gain a cottage in Fiji, or I will live at a peaceful place in Fiji, and then I will be peaceful. And yeah, and then I gradually I realized that that was also kind of a I call it the simplicity trap. It was not really simple, but it was more my unfulfilled desire to have something like paradise. And then being in paradise, the contrast was so big that I saw it's an inside job. Yeah.
Yes, of course it is. So on this note, we are going to meet again in the Fiji Island. We want to listen to more story about how Ben, with that lot of desire to have a peaceful life, and kept planning, and then the plans also materialized. And then as we both are coaches, and we have these, my model is based on the being versus doing. And as he said, the paradigm for him was from doing to being. He wanted to get into that being state of mind, which led him to go to Fiji in the first place. And then he found that finally he still has the baggage of karma. So we're going to meet again in the next video, in the next part, where we're going to discuss about his Fiji adventure. So see you.
Okay.